Get a little closer to the edge.
Yes, what's going on, guys? Today, back with another video, this time breaking down the bass sound from my new single, Hard Drive, which sounds like this. Anyways, going to be breaking down the bass sound today. It's just a serum patch and a couple of Ableton native plugins. A few spicy little things in there, but not anything really crazy. But, you know, I hope there will be a couple techniques maybe you can pick up on, maybe something you guys have never heard of. So we'll hop into the Ableton project file and check it out. But first, go ahead and hit like and subscribe for me. Do anything you can to support the channel. I post original music here, also DJ sets, random production videos like this. So if you like this kind of content, stay tuned. But anyways, let's go ahead and hop into the project file. So here we are in the project file, and as you can see, it's not actually the original project file. The original project file was killing my CPU a little bit while I was recording with OBS. So went ahead and just threw it into an instrument rack and brought it into a new project file. So this is the sound on its own. Right. And if I turn off all the effects, we can hear just the serum patch on its own. Right, so pretty basic serum patch, honestly. We got the Evol sweep, up an octave, and then a square wave as our two oscillators, and a little bit of noise on this kick attack 4. The main character of the sound, the serum patch at least, comes from this LFO being used in envelope mode, and I have the rate set to around 2 Hertz. And I have it routed to the cutoff and the resonance of the low pass filter at 24 dB per octave. And the reason I have the cutoff going all the way from 0% to 100% is because for a split second, I wanted all the harmonics to be there and then smooth off and then go completely out. So if I press and hold a key, I'm still holding the key, but nothing is happening because the cutoff on the filter has gone all the way down to 0%. And I also have it going to the resonance, and that's mostly just to give it a little bit more plucky nature. For the effects, just a little bit of hyperdimension also being modulated by this LFO1 used as an envelope, and a compressor, but the compressor is really not doing too much. It's mostly just there to control any weirdness that's going on. But the main character of the actual sound comes from this audio effect rack right here. So this is a technique I do all the time where I'll create a channel in the audio effect rack and have no effects on it. So that's just the dry channel, right? And then I will have a wet channel where if it's a bass noise, I'll take out a lot of the sub bass and experiment with kind of how I want the bass sound to actually sound, you know, character wise. I put a high pass on it around 200 Hertz through a chorus, an overdrive, and an erosion on it. And I will demo each of those. So on its own. So you can see that's where a lot of the width and the actual character of the sound comes from. But if I left it like this, it would be kind of overblown and weird. Like when you start to distort things really hard, they kind of start to lose their dynamics. But I really wanted to keep this super plucky. So I went ahead and threw a compressor on the end with a pretty quick attack and a pretty high ratio. And you can see it's doing a lot of gain reduction over here. Right, so that keeps it super, super plucky and not overblown. So if I blend that back in with a dry signal, right? And you can see that's like 95% of the sound right there, essentially. All I really did after that was did a little bit of OTT, around 12%, just to control the low mids a little bit. And another audio effect rack where I'm doing a similar thing, but with a reverb this time. And you can see it's only at negative 36 dB, so it's very, very subtle. But it really made a difference in when I started to mix and master the song. And I also have a G clip on here, which isn't doing too much actual clipping. It's mostly there just to kind of like catch peaks because the compressor will sometimes spike things up or let things through that I don't want to be there because I don't want to make my listeners' ears bleed, right? So you can see it's catching a little bit of the peaks. And last but not least, I have a utility on here with a bass mono, and this is essentially making all of the frequencies between 120 hertz completely mono, which really helps a lot with mono compatibility. So if you're playing on a system that's primarily mono and your sub bass is all stereo, it's going to start canceling itself out, and then there'll be like a couple beats where there's no bass, and then there'll be a ton of bass. Doesn't make any sense. So always want to make sure that I have this bass mono utility on, and it's but that is essentially it for this sound, guys. Pretty short video today. Wanted to keep it pretty short because it is a pretty simple sound, but I just wanted to show off a couple techniques that maybe you guys haven't tried out, maybe get your brain working in a different way. So, you guys can go out there and experiment and stuff. But drop down to the comments, anything. And I will see you guys in the next one.